But yeah, like I said, we got a trailer to react to. I did watch this a couple hours ago when it was revealed. Full transparency. But part of the benefit is that we're gonna watch the trailer, then the gameplay presentation, and then the roundtable to put out. And I'm gonna chat about this a little bit. If you don't know, this is the Halo Combat Evolved remaster. All right, let's check it. We're just gonna watch it. Remake. This is not the remaster. This is the full remake for the campaign. But yeah, we'll talk more about it as we go through.
According to the data in their networks, the ring has some kind of deep religious significance. They call it Halo. They believe that Halo is some kind of weapon.
What sort of weapon is it?
One with unimaginable power.
Chief, you gotta find the cartographer. We'll keep him busy as long as we can.
Fire Team Charlie, we're on our way.
It does look very pretty.
Somebody order a warthog.
Now this does look very good. Very good indeed.
The Covenant are putting up a real fight. The cartographer must be here.
There is some Unreal artifacts I'm noticing. I'll talk about that when we're doing the gameplay demo. I'll break that down.
Give them hell, Chief.
That looks good. It looks almost as good as the blur cutscenes for Halo 2 Anniversary and Halo Wars 2. Like we're there, baby. Also, this is so weird to see, but god damn it. PS5. This will come out on Xbox and PC, on Steam, and most importantly, PS5. Halo, like Gears of War Reloaded, officially came out a little bit ago on PlayStation. And now Halo officially will be available on PlayStation. That is crazy to think about. It's very obvious that what's going on is 343. Sorry, that's going to be hard to get used to. Halo Studios. They went through a full rebrand. They rebranded to the studio. They changed the leadership. Some people stepped down. Some people left the studio for a variety of reasons. They changed who's in charge of what and moved some people around, reshuffled some things. I believe that they are now working completely with Unreal Engine. That is the goal. So that way when they bring in people, they can hit the ground running, so to speak, with Unreal Engine tech and stuff like that. At least that's what they have said. Part of the deal of what they want to go for. I know. They also some time ago, they put out that little demo test where they had the studio work on Forerunner installations, a winter location, a desert location, and a flood location, as along with a location. Get out of here, fly! I don't know. Whatever. They also were working very intently to an artistic direction, is go in different directions with see what they could do with the assets and see how hard they could push Unreal Engine. But then they also showed a Halo Combat Evolved Mark V armor Master Chief in that trailer. Granted, he looked more plasticky than he does now. It's obvious that Halo Studios is using Halo Combat Evolved, the campaign remake, as a full-on reset for them. It's kind of like what happened with Bloober Team with Silent Hill 2 remake, right? Where Bloober Team used the remake as like, okay, we can color in the lines, we can make a good game. Then they come out with Chronos New Dawn, which I've heard very good things about, and that's them going, we can make good games, okay? We can make good video game. Which, more power to them. I feel like that's what's happening with Halo Studios. They're doing something very basic, which is they're coloring within the lines. A Halo Combat Evolved remake. All they got, they have the skeleton, they have the layout, they know what they got to do for the gameplay, the campaign, the setting, the story, everything. All they got to do is just fill in the gaps, right? And just color within the lines. So it gives them a chance to cut their teeth with the Unreal Engine. It gives them a chance to work with this current, rebranded leadership, rebranded studio, and revamped everything. It gives them a chance to kind of just reorientate and work together and get something out there. It also gives them a chance to get breach into the PlayStation market. It gives them a chance to re-engage themselves with gamers with goodwill, to release a good product. Hopefully it's a good product. Now granted, everyone and their mother, like myself, thought the MCC collection back in the day, over a decade ago, was the easiest slam dunk in history, and they managed to fumble that shit so hard that it took them 3 fucking years to fix. So hey, who fucking knows? I want to be hopeful. I want to see this succeed. I want Halo to be back. I want this to be a chance for Halo to come back, to be back in the limelight again, to be a juggernaut franchise again, to continually just be fun and good. That's what I want. Eventually I'll play the Halo series again and I'll play it on stream. And I'll give a lot more in-depth thoughts on it, but it's a series that started off very strong, and then it's had a lot of misfires. It has like some good stuff in them, but there's also some issues. And now where we're at here, it's one of those things where you're like, I just want it to be good. I just want it to be good, man. Now they'll get into this in the roundtable, but this remake is a full-on remake of the original game, revamped gameplay. The gameplay looks kind of like they're taking some of the stuff from Infinite and some of the other Halo games, but it's still very much Combat Evolved, which I appreciate. But there is some gameplay stuff like the assault rifle. You'll see here in a minute, but the assault rifle has the ammo count of Halo 3's assault rifle. Not the 60 round clip, unfortunately, but hey, there's some changes. Another notable thing that they're doing and changing is the cutscene direction is much more in depth. They're redoing the audio, they're redoing the remastering of soundtrack. And they also have apparently brought back the voice cast. They're no longer trying to trying to get rid of the voice cast. No, they brought back the voice cast. They're coming back in and they're redoing lines. And it sounds like they are redoing the lines. So it's not just a 1-to-1. They're revamping them a little bit here and there. They've also announced that with the campaign, because you'll see in this demo here in a moment, they have kind of revamped some stuff. So there's the ways that you would have approached the levels a little bit slightly different. Some things are a little bit more obvious. Some things have just kind of changed a little bit to for modern game design stuff, for better or for worse. Also the higher fidelity and the environments are a little different. One of the other big things is that it'll be 4-player co-op. Another thing they've added is that Warhogs can now see a 4th person, which is going to be cool. They'll show that later. There will be 3 prequel missions in the game. It's very unclear what they are. They just said that one of the missions features Johnson, which is great. My hopium is that we'll have Blue Team. I'd love to have Blue Team featured. I think they're amazing. I really would like to see them more. Especially in games. And there's a number of other things that they talked about, but we'll just watch the demo and I'll commentate on the demo as it progresses. The game looks very good. That cannot be understated enough. There is some Unreal Engine stuff that like that. Okay, look, like
the Covenant believed that what they called the silent cartographer
this is a
somewhere
slight
under this island. The cartographer is a map room that will lead us to Halo's control center.
The blocky look in the beginning part rather than the rounded look, just to me, is not my preference, but yeah, that's just like some art direction stuff. But this looks great. This is a completely redone cutscene. And they got like the animations. This is very much a throwback to Combat Evolved. It looks fun to play. Looks solid. Looks like Halo. And Halo is fun to play. And like Dave, yeah, we got Sprint. There is some things I'm kind of curious about because like it very much feels like it's Combat Evolved, but it plays similarly to Infinite, and Infinite does play good. You know, there's some things that people are going to be like traditionalists about and be like, I just wish it was more like the OG, but some changes. Them showcasing that the plasma pistol, like it always should have remained, can EMP shields again, and EMP vehicles. You'll see that later.
Area secure.
You also notice that the pistol, every time you grab the pistol, it does the Halo 1 animation of him cocking it. I appreciate that because there's like a lot of the animations of Halo 1 are ingrained. Also, just look at the environments, man. God, like I love Combat Evolved so much. There's something about a ring world is so fascinating.
Let's go find the map room. That will show us the location of Halo's control center.
I also appreciate that the Marines are still
I've been able to pinpoint the main facility by cross-referencing Covenant
survey data. It is kind of silly how the Marine has his rifle on his back, but it's whatever.
I've marked the entrance with a nav plate.
Part of me wonders if that's like a bug and they meant to have it be flipped, but this is a me thing. It's been in the games for a long time, and it's not the end of the world. I do kind of wish that the Jackals would have remained Southpaws, left-handed. That's just a me, but I kind of wish they would have stayed that way. But they, you know, for quite some time now, they haven't necessarily been Southpaws, so I can't really complain too much about that.
Keep it up! I think they all ran away.
There, in the cliff wall. The silent cartographer is somewhere inside that facility. They're already inside. We have to get in there and stop them before they learn the location
also,
of the control center.
Plasma rifle is back, like it should be. Plasma rifle is great. This is just me. I'm not the biggest fan of the sound effect of it. It just sounds too weak. Like it sounds cool. Don't get it twisted. But yeah, I didn't notice that. Like he does the tap tap. I like that. It's so weird because like, and some of the other previous titles, like some of the guns are pretty beefy sounding. But then here,
Covenant are putting up
Like,
a real
the
fight.
pistol, the human
Cartographer
weapons sound
must
good,
be
but
here.
then the alien
My
stuff,
analysis indicates that
I don't
the
know, maybe they're
map
just
room
trying to
should be
make
at
it
the bottom
sound
floor of this
too
facility. Let's keep going inside.
different.
Don't
Or
let them
maybe
lock
it's
the
just
doors.
like, okay, the needler sounds good. The plasma pistol sound right. Just the plasma rifle just sounded a little. It doesn't sound as loud as it should sound.
Interesting. I underestimated the Covenant's understanding of Halo's subsystems.
That's just me.
We need to
Like,
find the security override
I do
to get this
think
door
that.
open.
Oh, by the way, you could. They've said that you will be able to get the energy sword
Go
in
ahead,
this one.
Cortana. Have you found the control center?
Negative, Captain. The Covenant have impeded our progress. We can't proceed unless we can
But yeah, there
disable
is
this
some
installation's
Unreal
security
Engine
system.
artifacting I'm noticing.
Understood. We're still
Maybe artifact is the wrong choice of words. There's just some weird graphical foibles with Unreal Engine.
I want you to use any means necessary to force your way into the facility and find Halo's control center.
But again, no game engine is going to be perfect.
Good luck, people.
And there's always going to be something.
Let's move down the beach.
Like if they
Keep an
stuck
eye
with
out
slip
for
space,
anyone
that
using
would have had its own
structures.
issues. If they went back to the Blam engine, they would have been dealing with technical debt. Like, there's no such thing as a perfect game engine, nor its assets and stuff, but there will always be foibles or weird quirks or something. So, it's not the end of the world, it's just certain, like, small things I'm noticing, but it's fine. See? Yeah, got EMP'd, like it should've. What it looked like what happened there in the demo is that the Elite hijacked the Marine.
Down, man. Triggers down.
This is only the only time I'm going to rewind, so don't you sweat. So you look at the Elite, yeah, he hops on it, and he hijacked the Marine, but then the Marine immediately hopped back in, which when I first watched it confused me at first, but I understand now. Only thing I'll say is that I do think that the Elite should, rather than hopping low, he should be on the top, kind of like other games, so it's way more obvious. Ooh, what's happening here? We good? Okay, we'll just refresh the page because it is not like it went over. There we go. Okay.
Man, triggers
Apologies for
down.
that. But there is some things I'm noticing. Like a couple, like the game's not going to do until sometime next year on specified date. I appreciate the blood. I really like the fact that neon blood's back and everything. It looks really good. Like the lighting is phenomenal. And look at all these guys just in the center. But there's a couple things like the animation that leaked. It wasn't immediately obvious that they were getting hijacked. Whereas like, you know, in Halo 3, they hop on the top. Even if that is not necessarily the smartest move, it's all much more obvious to the player you're getting hijacked, so you need to do something about that. So that's the only thing I would say is that what they really need to do is just a couple things here and there. Like there's still enough time to work on it. You know, again, the hijack animation should be a little higher up so it's easier to see. Maybe beef up the sound of the plasma rifle just a bit. You know, maybe make more of a compromise between like Halo 3's plasma rifle and your current one, and like try to find a compromise between the two. Just it's a couple odd things here and there. Nothing as I feel that it's nothing that can't be fixed, and some of the stuff like the plasma rifle one, that's more of like my own personal taste, but some stuff like the hijacking one I was just talking about, that's an actual gameplay foible and a gameplay thing that it's a difference between a player notices something and not, especially something like getting hijacked in a vehicle. I am appreciating the direction they have taken Sprint with Infinite, where the Sprint, you move faster than when you're not sprinting, like you should, but it's not so fast that it's like it's the end of the world if you're not sprinting, but it's just enough to do. I am hoping they have some of the movement stuff. They didn't show any clambering. Now, granted, Combat Evolved wasn't really built with clambering in mind, and while they are revamping the game, they would have to actually add some stuff in the environments and like change some of the level design completely to account for clambering. Otherwise, it would just be kind of a tacked-on thing. But even if it was a kind of a tacked-on thing, part of me is kind of hoping that they would add it still. But that's just me.
Use the holo panel to shut down the security system.
This elite looks real good. Oh boy.
Good. That should
He
open the
looks
door that leads
grumpy.
into the main shaft. We need to go to the main facility. Let's head back down the beach.
Mayday! Mayday!
Look at that
Dropship
grumbles.
Bravo 22 taking enemy fire! Repeat, we are under heavy fire and are losing altitude!
Understood. We're on
I
our
like the
way.
way After Camo looks. I think. Oh, again, visually, I think it's great. There's just a couple things like, I don't know. There's a weird. It almost is like a film grain over everything. That if it's there, if it's an option, I'll definitely turn that shit up because I don't personally like film grain because I feel
Chief,
with
Bravo
a few
22 was bringing us
exceptions,
some
it's kind
heavy
of the way I
weapons.
view motion blur.
After I saw we were up against hunters, I thought you could use them.
Where, with a handful of exceptions, most of the time motion blur and film grain doesn't look that great in most games. And there is a couple of things like I'd say even noticing what's in the texture work here. Like look at the way the lighting is reflecting off the plasma rifle. But then again, it's not final. But yeah, just listen to that. That's just, it needs to sound like a little louder, a little whinier, if that makes sense. Reload canceling. I appreciate how a lot of this stuff sounds. I will say, with some of these sound effects, again, this is maybe just me. Again, it kind of sounded like the plasma rifle. We could make things sound like a bit louder, a little beefier, right? But again, that's his preference. I really love. They did a really. This is like a great level to show off because you get to see a lot of the green, but you also see a lot of the desert, the sand stuff. Not desert, sand stuff. I should say. You can see like the forerunner structures. You can also get to showcase the time of day and stuff like that. Like, you know, Infinite didn't have any of this, unfortunately. Well, it kind of had like a couple select spots and also some glamour outside it, but in the main game it didn't have any of this. So, I think the next best thing you can do is if they were to show off Assault on the Control Room, and then if they show off 343 Guilty Spark. I think those are the three levels that they should show off before release. Assault on the Control Room, with it being like the bigger focus on like the larger battles and some of the vehicle combat with the tank and stuff. I really like the direction they took with this cutscene. Like the addition of like Chief checking his corners like he should, but then walking out. I love this update to the Mark V armor. That looks great. Like, look at that. That looks great. That is like, that shot, that is like straight out of a concept art shot. Only thing about that is the last shot. There's two things to note. One, one, and I know this is not final. I think Chief's armor should just be slightly more metallic looking. That's just me. Again, some of the stuff, like, you know, it's a good thing when the shit I'm talking about is just artistic choices here and there. And this is stuff that, to be clear, I'd be totally fine with. But this is how his armor, I think, should look, unless like the flat look here. But that requires some more direct lighting. But that's just me. The only thing is in that the original cutscene, it had, if I remember correctly, it had fog at the shaft, and it made it seem like that shaft was way deeper. Whereas in this one, we could see the ball at the shaft. This is something else that this is why I want to see 343 Guilty Spark ahead of time, because with the higher fidelity and everything, the natural push obviously is to show how big these environments are, right? Like what they said here. I appreciate that. But there is something to be said about understanding the original artistic intent by some of the stuff, even if it is a limitation. It's kind of like with with Silent Hill 2, where they kept the fog in the town because it added to the entire atmosphere of Silent Hill. It's very important that they kept it. In that same vein, keeping the fog in like that shaft, and also keeping the fog at 343 Guilty Spark and a couple other locations, what that does is it gives a illusion. It adds to the atmosphere, but it also just adds to the fact that, like, man, that's deep, right? You can't see the bottom. So that's something that I would maybe suggest is maybe they should keep that. I hope they would add that. But as far as gameplay, I am interested. I'm really excited to see that. We'll watch their little round table that they did here. And then we'll hop over. We'll do a little bit of Helldivers, and then we'll do some Battlefield. Let me just check something on my end. Okay, streams are strong, that they should be. 1 second. Okay. So we're going to watch the little developer roundtable they did, where they're breaking things down even more. By the by, if the audio is quiet for the desktop stuff, I do apologize. I have literally maxed out the volume on my end with what I currently can do without having a sound mixer. I'll check it later to see how it went, and then I'll see if there's some other stuff I could do in the meantime, but do apologize. I will be watching the vidocs they put out as time goes on. We'll be checking these out for sure. Awesome, that's probably the cover art, and that looks good.
Halo Campaign Evolved is the next project coming out of Halo Studios. It is the ultimate Halo CE campaign remake. It is coming to Xbox, PC, and for the first time, PlayStation. It'll be arriving next year. To talk more about it, we've got Dan, Max, and Greg from the development team. Guys, let's get into this. Why is this the right game for right now?
We did this work on Halo Anniversary. I felt like there were certain things that were left unsaid. There were certain things that we weren't able to achieve at that time. There were certain things we weren't able to do.
It's a great time to revisit Combat Evolved for new players, for established Halo players, and maybe even for old friends playing on different hardware today, to allow them to play together and enjoy the franchise together again.
Going back to the Halo ring again for the first time.
For the first time is really important.
When he says allow people on different hardwares to play together, that's a very important thing. And I'm hoping that means cross-platform. especially with now it's going to be a multi-platform title and everything. I hope that means Halo will be cross-platform play.
And be surprised by new content and feel like excited again about exploring the Ring world.
For new players, this is the right time for you to jump in. Think of this as your introduction into this huge franchise we've been building for the past 25 years.
I'm curious how you're going to focus on capturing the essence of the original, knowing that you need to evolve to kind of move the experience forward.
Yeah, from design, we don't take that lightly at all.
That
Whenever we make
great.
a change, the number one thing was to be true to the original game.
For every one of those topics that comes up, there's someone who is incredibly passionate on the other side saying we can, like, that is sacred. We do not move that crate.
It's really about looking across, what we've learned over the years, what technology we've built, and how we can tie that back into this experience.
So in this game, up to 4 people can play the campaign together, regardless of which platform they're on.
There's a caveat to what he says. It's regardless of any platform, so cross-platform, right? It is 2-player split screen, console only, not on PC for whatever reason. That's an odd thing.
And then we're kicking it old school. We can play 2-player co-op on consoles, on the couch together, just like we did back in the original. What do you have to do differently to account now for 4 people running around?
For different co-op counts, we will make some of the spaces larger. We also want to make sure we're authentic to the encounters themselves. So it's a balancing act between that difficulty tuning and making those encounters the right size for the right space.
I understand that we've done some special tune-up works to the beloved Warthog.
We have. There's a new seat, what I like to call the golf cart seat or the bumper seat. This is on the back of the Warthog, so now you can bring everyone with.
But I also appreciate it.
Let's talk a little bit about one of my favorite aspects of the Halo franchise. What is a skull? What's cool about it? What does it do?
A skull is a gameplay modifier, generally mean-spirited. It makes the game more challenging for the player.
Generally.
The combination, the pairing of these different skulls and how that's going to create that new gameplay experience. Huge amount of replay options for folks.
I love the replayability that skulls bring to a campaign. It is almost endless variety.
We have dozens of skulls this time.
The most that we've ever had in a Halo game.
Are you a lasso guy? I think you yourself told me that you don't think anyone would ever be able to complete this game with legendary all skulls on.
I don't think so. I mean, there's a lot. And so if you can do a true legendary all skulls on run, let us know. Because I'd love to see it. I think that'd be really hard.
If there's one thing that this community has shown us is do not underestimate them, and they will find a way. So Halo's always been known for its sandbox. How has this evolved?
We made sure that anything we included isn't going to drastically change the way the game plays, to change the sandbox in a drastic way, but there's some really fun kind of additions, and that's across enemies, weapons, vehicles, things that from the original CE you weren't able to do before that you now can. You finally kill the elite with the sword. That weapon hits the floor and you can pick that up and just kind of really take it to the enemy. It's great.
The sound design. All these weapons, by the way, have been painstakingly remodeled, rebuilt, higher fidelity. How do all these things kind of come to life?
That comes across through the way they look, the way they sound, the effects, the actual panels on the weapons themselves, the ammo counters.
With Unreal, the fully dynamic lighting within Lumen allows us to get those effects, right? That rich plasma lighting up and brightening the environment.
Of course, one of the hallmark elements of Halo CE is what becomes kind of a three-way battle with the introduction of the Flood.
There was quite a bit of development between Halo CE and 3 to kind of how the Flood behaved and just how they interacted with the player. So we've pulled a lot of those Flood behaviors into this game.
And I would say this is a learning specifically from CE to Anniversary, which is just kind of that mood, the atmosphere, the tension, the horror, and really delivering on that from the way that we stage the encounters and the setup and how we reveal the Flood.
In Halo Legacy, there were some pure form units. We've pulled in a familiar friend, familiar fiend, if you will, to challenge the player.
Yeah, they said they took some
Talk
of
to
the
me just a little bit about
Halo
how we're
3
approaching
with
the narrative
the Flood.
aspects to bring it up to the same level as the rest of this game.
We want to tell an authentic story and we want to level up the cinematics from the source.
As we were building this out, we didn't just kind of put a new coat of paint over the original cinematics, right? We ended up revisiting exactly how they were blocked out, how they were sequenced, how they were put together, and we've done that across the board.
We have access to original source assets, original source code, and access to the original storyboards. We are...
So, this is something that, the reason why I'm pausing this and taking note of this, not every studio has that, especially for a remake. A number of companies, for one reason or another, unfortunately, are very infamous for not keeping the original source code or the original assets. You know, it's a very good thing. One thing I've actually do appreciate is that, as far as Halo has been concerned, despite a lot of bullshit behind the scenes, they have been pretty good about keeping assets and keeping the original source codes. I don't know how many builds they have. I've not worked at any like Bungie or 343 or now Halo Studios, obviously. But I do believe that they've been pretty good about keeping a lot of builds available. And in fact, what's been kind of cool over the years is that people have released, and like through working, it's like the Foundry group of people working closely with 343 and now Halo Studios, is that they've been able to release stuff like the Halo 2 original E3 demo. They've been able to release stuff like the original Halo Combat Evolved build before it was even Combat Evolved, before it was even a console game, back when it was a third-person game and stuff. Like, it's really fascinating, like some of the builds they've been able to release and like show off, like, you know, old tech or like things they tried to attempt and stuff like that. So that's a very good thing that they have access to. That actually, them having access to the original source code means that they will be able to look at actually like what made that first game work, better for worse, and all the bullshit, but also the good stuff, and see how some of that magic was able to happen. So
mastering, remixing the music to go along with these cinematics.
We also had the core principal cast come in and re-record all the lines.
How much firepower would you need to crack one of the engine sheets?
Main
this really provides a degree of fidelity that we weren't able to do for Halo.
To come back in.
Now would be a very good time to leave.
I'm super excited that this game will include 3 brand new bonus missions. Tell me a little bit about that.
It was really important that we preserve the original story as it is. So these missions specifically are meant to be a prequel, a setup for, you know, the main course. These new missions are going to offer some new opportunities for character interactions, maybe between, you know, Chief and Johnson.
We've got some new mechanics, maybe some new AI behaviors, things that haven't been done before in Halo CE.
I think we're just getting started.
So where are we right now at this stage in development? What can you share with us?
In the past few weeks, we've been able to start engaging and sending builds out to some of our community members.
We can now see so many of the elements of the level really coming together.
There's a point in every game's life cycle where it kind of just comes online.
Seeing really high fidelity versions of cinematics, elements of the sandbox and encounter tweaks and the lighting.
You can go to someone's desk and give feedback live on an experience, and to me that's like a really exciting time in game development.
The ultimate love letter to the game that started it all. I would call upon our entire Halo community to welcome with open arms this next generation of players. I'm excited to just relive these experiences again for the first time.
I like how wide he is. Like, I think the best Master Chief has looked is actually Infinite with how he's looked here, but I do appreciate that they kept the chunky look that he has in the original. Just appreciate that a lot. All right, that looks good. I am excited for that. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope that it's great. I hope it doesn't have any fucking problems or a monkey's paw situation. I hope it's just a good, solid, fun experience. I can play solo, I can play with friends. It would be an experience I would love to play again and again, hopefully. And I would love for it to just release, and then in a year or two after that, or even 3 years after that, they come out with a brand new Halo title. Hopefully it moves the story forward, hopefully it gets things back on track, and hopefully we could just... I would love to be able to talk about Halo again without having to breathe that sigh of, yeah, Infinite's good, but it's not great in a lot of parts, and you could tell that's like a third of the game they wanted to make, or yada yada. Or yeah, Halo 5's multiplayer is fun, but oh man, those rep packs fucking suck, don't they? And campaign sucks worse somehow. Or Halo 4 was good. I remember it has a very good emotional story, and then multiplayer is really lacking. You know what I mean? I just want it to be good.